Good evening. You're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS Nightline. Here are the headlines for tonight. Sarawak holds onto its high income status for the third year running, according to new World Bank data. A Malaysian missing in the Bali Ferry tragedy has been confirmed that following DNA tests. The confirmation came after DNA tests matched the recovered remains. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim held talks with foreign leaders in Putrajaya to strengthen ties and boost regional cooperation. Sarawak has maintained its status as a high-income state in Malaysia for the third year in a row. According to the latest gross national income GNI per capita data for 2024 released by the World Bank, Sarawak recorded a GNI per capita of 73,100 ringgit annually, surpassing the high-income threshold of 63,800 ringgit per year based on the World Bank's Atlas methodology. World Bank lead economist for Malaysia, Dr. Apurva Sanghi, said based on current data, Sarawak's ranked fourth among Malaysia's high-income states after the Federal Territory of Kuala Lumpur, 135,800 ringgit, Labuan, 86,700 ringgit, and Penang, 75,700 ringgit, followed by Selangor, 65,600 ringgit. In total, 5 states and federal territories, including Sarawak, have crossed the high-income threshold, while the national average GNI per capita remains 53,400 ringgit per year. Although Malaysia's GNI per capita of 53,400 ringgit is still below the high-income benchmark of 63,800 ringgit, the country is on track to achieve high-income status by 2030. The Atlas GNI per capita indicator is used by the World Bank to classify countries and subnational regions by income status, with the current high-income threshold estimated at around $14,000 per year. Last year, Sarawak recorded a GNI per capita of 70,542 ringgit, ranking fourth among the top 5 states that had achieved the high-income status. 2 years ago, Sarawak made history by being recognized for the first time as a high-income state by the World Bank for the year 2022. A Malaysian national, Fousy was reported missing following the capsizing of Ferry KM Tunu Pratama Jaya in the Bali Strait on July 2nd has been confirmed that this comes after a post-mortem was conducted on a body found on July 10 off the coast of Perancak Beach. According to East Java Police Forensic Head Adam Bimantoro, the identity of 55-year-old Fousy was confirmed through primary DNA analysis from dental samples and matching of personal belongings recovered at the scene. The ferry, carrying 53 passengers, 12 crew members and 22 vehicles, capsized in the Bali Strait on the night of July 2nd. Reports indicate that KM Tunu Pratama Jaya had departed from Ketapang Port in Bayuwangi en route to Gilimanuk and issued a distress signal at 11:20 p.m. before capsizing just 15 minutes later at 11:35 p.m. In local development, the construction of the new building for Sekolah Jenis Kebangsaan Cina Chonghua Batu 11 Matang has reached over 60% completion and is progressing on schedule. Deputy Premier Sarawak, Dato' Amar Dr. Sim Kui Hian, said the project is expected to be fully completed by March 2026 and will be able to accommodate over 100 students.
This project in total about 7 million, and then Sarawak government has allocated 2.5 million before in batches, and then plus this 1.5 million, so we got 4 million. And Premier always believe that the Chinese school is for all races, and that's why it will also reflect in currently out of 222 Chinese primary school in Sarawak, about 60,000 students, out of 60,000 students, about 25,000 are Bumiputra. So it is truly reflect that.
He made the remarks during a site visit to the school project on Friday, which also saw the presence of the Chief Political Secretary to the Premier Sarawak, Dato' Fasruddin Abdul Rahman, who expressed appreciation for the state government's commitment to ensuring the project's continued funding. The project, which officially broke ground on 10 October 2024, is part of the state's effort to expand access to quality education infrastructure. Upon completion, the new facility is expected to accommodate at least 120 students, a significant increase from the current enrollment of 85. The upcoming implementation of the Sarawak Dual Language Program Assessment UPDLP for Primary 6 students this October is said to be a milestone in enhancing students' capabilities in science and technology. Sarawak Minister for Education, Innovation and Talent Development, Dato' Sri Roland Sagawiin, said the initiative aims to empower students to master science, mathematics and English through bilingual learning.
UPDLP sebab kita telah memulakan pengajaran teaching of maths and science in English for the past 6 years. So we have decided to assess the capabilities, the competencies of the student. So it will be this year, the first one. This is for primary 6 only. The next 3 years will be for Form 3 also. This one we are doing it together with Cambridge University. And we will be having it on the 15th and 16th of October. So it is on. So we see how is the result. At least from there we know what or how good are our students. That's the most important.
Roland made the remarks in Syrian on Friday in response to questions regarding the initiative. Previously, Sarawak Premier Dato' Paninggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg announced the state's dual language program DLP policy aimed at equipping students with contemporary knowledge through English proficiency. He stressed that the approach is not intended to glorify the English language, but rather to enable Sarawak's youth to master critical fields, especially artificial intelligence, AI, and science. Welcome back. Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim held bilateral meetings on Friday with leaders and senior representatives from 7 countries and international entities on the sideline of the 58th ASEAN Foreign Ministers Meeting AMM and related meetings currently taking place. The meetings held at the Prime Minister's office in Putrajaya involve representatives from China, Australia, Pakistan, Turkey, Palestine, the United Kingdom and the European Union. During his discussion with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, Anwar said both sides deliberated on various aspects of the Malaysia-China relationship, which has been further strengthened following President Xi Jinping's state visit to Malaysia in April, marked by the signing of 31 memorandums of understanding and agreements. In a statement, ANWAR highlighted that China remained Malaysia's largest trading partner for the 16th consecutive year, with total trade reaching $106 billion in 2024. In a separate meeting with Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong, ANWAR said Malaysia and Australia continued discussions to further strengthen their bilateral ties, which have been in place since 1957. The Prime Minister also welcomed Australia's interest in investment in smart manufacturing, the digital economy, artificial intelligence, and renewable energy. Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) is expected to maintain its overnight policy rate (OPR) at 2.75% for 2025, according to BMI, a unit of Fitch Solutions. In a note today, BMI believed that the recent 25 basis points rate cut would be the last cut for this year, also anticipating that the banking sector has less to worry about inflation for now.
It said headline inflation eased to 1.2% in May from 1.4% in April year-on-year. The 12th consecutive month, it remained below the 10-year average of 2.0%. According to the statement, RON95 fuel subsidy rationalization plan will add to price pressures and could potentially wrong-foot the bank if it loosens policy too extensively. In the meantime, BMI expresses its less optimistic outlook on the tariff trade negotiation outcomes following the recent development. In the absence of discernible progress on trade negotiations, US President Donald Trump has further threatened to impose a 10% tariff on countries that support the anti-American policies of the BRICS group, commenting that the matter is negative news for Malaysia given its involvement as a partner country.
On to world news. US President Donald Trump has announced that Canada will face a 35% tariff on exports to the United States effective August 1st. The announcement was made in a letter to Prime Minister Mark Carney on Thursday, one of over 20 letters Trump has issued this week alone as he escalates trade tensions with multiple countries. The move comes amid ongoing negotiations between Canada and the US to salvage a trade agreement ahead of a July 21st deadline, a deal that now hangs in the balance following this latest tariff threat. Trump outlined the 35% tariff hike in a letter shared on his Truth Social account, linking the measure to Canada's failure to curb drug inflows, which he claims to have fueled America's fentanyl crisis. Despite this, the letter maintained a tone of continued cooperation, noting that both nations remain engaged in talks to salvage the USMCA trade pact. The agreement, which replaced NAFTA in 2020, is now at risk as Trump's escalating tariff strategy puts pressure on Canada and Mexico ahead of its scheduled review next year. Hundreds of protesters across Brazil took to the streets on Friday, with demonstrators in Sao Paulo denouncing the new U.S. tariffs on Brazilian exports as an attack on national sovereignty, a sentiment shared by many on the ground. In Rio de Janeiro, separate rallies were called for higher taxes on the ultra-rich and the end of the 6-day work week, demanding fairer labor policies and social justice.
Essa taxação que o Trump está impondo para o Brasil é absolutamente inadmissível, vai contra a nossa Constituição, ele tá se intrometendo na nossa soberania, a gente não pode permitir isso.
É mais uma palhaçada dele, né? Ele ia tomar o canal do Panamá, ele ia tomar a Groenlândia, né? Ele ia acabar com as guerras em 24 horas. E agora ele quer taxar o Brasil em 50%, é ridículo.
Nós estamos colhendo assinaturas para que a gente consiga que o Congresso Nacional vote o fim de uma escala quase escrava, que é a escala 6x1, onde as pessoas trabalham 6 dias e só folgam 1. Então, uma das lutas é essa.
Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.